Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me. We back in the house. Got a good video for y'all. Got a string of videos coming up. All right, so get ready. First and foremost, we're going to talk about, all right, the impending free agents, who I would sign, who I would just let leave on the open market. Next video after that, we're going to cover who I think the surprise cuts could be on our squad. Then we'll go into, after that, the next video will be about free agents that I like that'll be on the open market, okay? And I'm waiting to do that one last because there's going to be a lot of cuts coming up in the next few days, so, or the next week or so. So once that materializes and I have a full list, we'll do that video last. And then, of course, if there's any breaking news in between, we'll get into it. All right, now it is Tuesday, all right, as of recording this video, and there was some breaking news, although it ain't our squad, it still is something to mention, all right. Russell Wilson is now a Denver Bronco. They sent a load of picks and Drew Lock, who apparently is a commodity of some sort, maybe not a hot one, but they wanted him. So he's going over to Seattle now. Got a good friend of mine. I know he's upset. He's real upset. He's upset. All right, because he's a Seattle fan, and yeah, it ain't looking good. Let's just say that. All right, I don't know if they plan on drafting. Maybe they do. Maybe they liked what they saw in the combine. Maybe, there were some guys with some incredible arms in the combine. All right, and let's talk about the combine real quick because I didn't do a video on the combine. Because I want to wait until I start talking about draft stuff to actually mention the combine, really, or guys' times and what guys did. I just feel like it's too early. One, there was a lot of guys in the combine with strong arms, okay? I mean, not a lot. There were a few guys in the combine with just ridiculous arms. Just throwing it, heaving it 65 yards in the air, 70 yards in the air, okay? It was amazing to see. But then on top of that, I don't know what was going on with the 40-yard radar, but everybody was running fast times. Like, it was ridiculous, okay? And you had it on both spectrums where you had guys running 4.21s, and it turns out they was running 4.33s. And it's like, how is it so wide of a margin? And then you had guys running 4.50s, and then it turns out they was running 4.39s. It was like, bro, like the unofficial and the official was just way off in both opposite directions. I don't know what was going on with the radar. Something was wrong with the radar, okay? And then you'll have them on the simulcast where they're running slower times than guys that actually ran faster times than them. And it was weird, all right? It was weird. They got to fix the system. I don't trust any of the 40s that came out this year. I'm just sorry. Some of these 40s were ridiculous, especially with defensive linemen running 4.39s. Get out of here, bro. Like, it was just off. Something was off about that to me, but I just picked that type of stuff up. I don't know if you did or not. Let's get into why we are here. First and foremost, let's talk about Gesicki. He will not be hitting the open market. He did get the franchise tag as a tight end. Now, will he be happy about that? I don't know, because he himself has said that he is a slot receiver. He is not a tight end. He does not line up at tight end often. So I don't know. Will he be arbitrating that, or not arbitrating? Will he be fighting that? I can't find the word I'm looking for. Will he be fighting that or not? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe he just accepts the fact that he's a tight end, or maybe he takes it up with the NFL players PA, and then they go through. I think it is arbitration actually. They go through arbitration and see, what's going on there, and see if they can remove that tag and put the wide receiver tag, which will be more money. There's always games that the player can play, and the teams try to play games as well because they know they're lining them up. It's just certain things that can be done if he wants to go that route, but we'll see if he actually takes that route. I got to put on some chapstick. All right. So we'll see if he actually goes that route or not. I don't know. But he is not on the open market. But there are 27 other guys that will be hitting the open market if we choose not to resign them. And those are the guys that I want to go over the list on right now. And I'll tell you who I want to keep, if in any way possible, who I'm willing to let go of, and who I might be on the fence about. All right. And I don't know exactly who are all on this list. You're getting my live reaction of who are on this list. I do know some of the guys that are on the list, of course, because we follow the team. But I don't know every last person that's on the list. I got my trusty phone here. We're going to go through the list together. Number 1, Emmanuel Ogbah. We got to do whatever we got to do to sign this guy. Now, I know some of y'all are going to be saying, man, Emmanuel Ogbah didn't have a lot of sacks. He had like 9 sacks. I get it. He didn't have, the best sack numbers, all right? But what he does, he takes pressure off of Jalen Phillips, 1. 2, all those batted balls can turn into interceptions or whatever, okay? So definitely, at worst, a incomplete pass. And at best, turns into a interception. That's great, and those are great. All right, he had a lot of batted passes. He is a threat. You got to try and double team him at times. He can get hot. He's consistent, plays the run well, and you have a rookie on the other side that needs that dominant presence so it can keep pressure off of Jalen Phillips and that he can develop. All right, that's why you sign him to a lucrative deal. Now, the numbers wise, 16 mil a year, somewhere in that ballpark. He's not an elite pass rusher. He doesn't command 20, but I'll give him 16. 3, 4 years, 16, and we just keep it moving there. All right, some of y'all, you might not feel that way about it. Let me know in the comment section. You already know what it is. Let's talk about it. Let's go back and forth. Next one up, Will Fuller. Now, this one's tough because we have a new regime. If it was the same regime, I would say just let the man go. All right, just let the man move on. We could do better. We can, whatever. But now that Mike McDaniel is coming in, if he's willing to take a prove-it deal at like $3 or $4 million, I'll take him back. Now, he might not want to come back for a myriad of reasons. And if he doesn't want to come back, cool, let him rock. Let the man go. He's already a free agent. And maybe somebody else will offer him more money. I don't know. But prove it deal, $3 million. I'll bring him back. Because he's a spacer. You need more than one spacer. You only have one at the moment. And Waddle, he is a spacer. He's a 4-2 guy. If his hand is good and he will take $3 million, I'll take him back. Some of y'all are surprised by that. Some of y'all don't care to have him back. But remember, he didn't really play last year. It's not like he was a bust. He just got injured, which, it was a bust of a signing because he got injured. But it wasn't too bad, all right? He held up $10 million for 1 year. That $10 million is now available. Hey, if you can get him back for 3, get him. Let's move on. Durham Smythe. Now, because we're signing Gesicki back, Durham Smythe is expandable. I would have loved to keep him, but I would only want to keep him if they didn't plan on signing back Mike Gesicki. I thought they were going to let him walk. If they let Mike Gesicki walk, I was going to say you have to sign back Durham Smythe because that's the type of guy you need. But we have Hunter Long waiting in the weeds. They'll probably get up another guy, upper echelon guy, maybe to pair with that. You can let Durham Smythe go. All right, that's just my opinion on it. I believe he's going to get some decent money going somewhere. I believe he's a decent guy. He improved every year. He's a decent blocker, not a great blocker, but he's a decent blocker. I let him go. Elandon Roberts. He's a tough one, all right, because he brings the thump. He really does. He brings the thump in the run game. He did have an interception run back for a touchdown last year. against the Oakland Raiders, like an 80-yard touchdown. The funniest running ever by him, by the way. The way he ran, it was just hilarious. But, yeah, I think I'm going to let him go. I think I'm going to let him go because we got to move forward and we got to get better in that department. Orlando Roberts doesn't necessarily help us do that. He's not an every down back. He's a first and second down back. We need an every down linebacker at that position, a Patrick Willis type, a Bobby Wagner type, a Fred Warner type, somebody like that. That's what we need. So we got to try and get one of those guys, whether through free agency, which I don't know. We'll find out when I do the list, or through the draft, okay, which there's a lot of speed at every position in the draft this year, so let's try to hit on one of those type of guys. Nick Needham. He is a restricted free agent. Tender him. Tender Nick Needham, all right? You're doing your best to try to keep Xavier Howard. Tender Nick Needham. Give him a second round tender. If somebody wants to take him off your hands for a second round, they can have him, but we need him back. He plays the slot. He is integral to this defense out of the slot. I know you have Noah Igbenogany. You need to find out what you have in him. This last 2 years, I think he's been in the league 2 years so far. Not Nick Needham. Noah Igbenogany. He's got 2 years left to find out what you got before you have to figure out if you're going to pick up that fifth-year option. Let's try to figure this out from now. All right. He'll be a good fourth option. Nick Needham is a good third option. So I want to bring him back. He plays out of the slot where Noah Igbenogany doesn't necessarily do that for you. You need him. You need him. Justin Coleman, I don't know how many years he has left. I think he signed a 2 or 3 year deal. We'll talk about him when it comes to surprise cuts. But Nick Needham, we got to bring him back. Justin Coleman actually signed a 1 year deal because I see he's an unrestricted free agent. Bye-bye. You can go. All right? We don't need to spend no time on that. Jacoby Brissett, bye-bye. You can go. We don't need to spend no time on that. Albert Wilson, I'm sorry, my friend. It's time for you to go. All right? We've done everything we can. His hip just won't allow him to be the same quarterback. I'm not editing that out, but I didn't mean nothing by Tua, okay? Tua 9, that wasn't for Tua, all right? It wasn't for Tua at all. I wasn't trying to take a dig at Tua. Please leave me alone. I made a mistake, but I don't edit, so I have to leave that in. We're not talking about Tua and his hip. Tua is just fine. Albert Wilson's hip, all right, his hip won't allow him to be the same wide receiver, okay? It just won't allow him to be the same wide receiver. Once again, no disrespect to Tua and Tua whatsoever, all right, at all. It won't allow him to be the same wide receiver, so we're going to move forward. We're going to move on. Mac Hollins, this is the one that everybody wants to debate about. Is Mac Hollins good enough to get a contract? Is he not good enough? Does he have reliable hands? Is he a good route runner? Is he just reliable overall? You have to bring him back. I'll tell you why. He is the best special teamer we have, okay? Yes, he's not the greatest wide receiver, but he's serviceable. You need depth, all right? There's some other guys that have, status at the wide receiver position on the team that may not be there next year. All right, so you got to bring a guy like this back, especially because he's a special team stalwart. Bring him back. It's not going to take a lot of money to sign a Mac Hollins, so bring him back. If you do not bring Mac Hollins back, I'm going to tell you where he's going. He's going to the Patriots. All right, now some of you will say, well, the Patriots don't need wide receivers like that. They love special teams guys. He is a special team ace. They will bring a guy like this in. Keep him from the Patriots. Sign him 2 year, $6 million, 3 years, $9 million, $5 million guaranteed, something like that. All right. Just give him his money. All right. And let's keep it moving. Michael Palardy. If we can get a better punter, let's go get a better punter. because this guy was too inconsistent last year. I'm ready to move on if we can't find anything better. Or if we can find something better. Sorry, I said that backwards. Jason McCourty. I'm ready to move on from him as well. And he did decent for us last year, but we have those two guys that are ready to step forward at the safety position, so I'm ready to just move off of him and let him go on. Duke Riley, because I'm letting Elandon Roberts go, I'm bringing a guy back like this for depth and on special teams. John Jenkins, I'm ready to let him move on. And let's see if we can get somebody else in there that could do the same type of job, maybe a little younger. Sam McGuavin, he's a restricted free agent. I don't expect him to be tendered. I expect them to let him go on the free market, maybe sign him back to a one-year deal. But at this point, you might let him go. Greg Mance, I don't expect them to bring him back. If they do, it's strictly for depth, but I expect them to just move on and find better guys. Preston Williams, all right? He's a restricted free agent. I do not expect him to be tendered. I think that they're just going to move on at this point. He just gets injured too much. Yes, he has all the talent in the world, but if you can't be on the field, you can't show your talent. Your best ability is availability. You can't do it. It's time to move on, bro. As much as I hate to say that. Savon Ahmad. This one's tough because they need guys that can catch out of the backfield. That's a big thing out of the West Coast offense. He's the best you got. All right, there isn't a guy better than him out of the backfield catching the ball. Problem is, we didn't see enough of it. He was burning guys, toasting guys in training camp, all training camp. When we got to the league, we saw none of it. All right, I think it was him. No, it wasn't him. I was going to say, I think he had one against Tampa Bay, but that was Gaskin against Tampa Bay. So, yeah. I think you got to let him move on. All right? And I know he's an exclusive rights free agent, but you might just have to let him go. Brendan Scarlett, you might bring him back as a training camp body, see if he can make the team. I liked some of the things I saw from him, didn't like certain things. I mean, he's a little raw. He just needs some coaching, and maybe he could be decent, so maybe you bring him back as a camp body. Philip Lindsay, this is a guy I'm signing back as on a prove-it deal. 1 year out of this system, he already succeeded. He could help the guys as well, learn it a little better, the guys that they'll be bringing in. So he has value. He has value just in that alone because he knows the system. He knows the running system that they're bringing in. I bring him back on a prove-it deal, veteran minimum if he's willing to take it, and let's rock. Duke Johnson, all right? That's another guy I'm bringing back. Now, I know, like, dang, we're going to have a lot of running backs. You're going to need a lot of running backs. I'm bringing him back. Once again, it's a 1 year, can't body, prove it deal. If he's willing to take that deal, he might be because he loves Miami that much. You bring him back and you see what these guys can do. You just never know. I'm willing to bring both of those guys back on 1 year deals. And if somebody is showing his worth, pay him. Give him a 2-3 year deal with a little bit of money. You throw some money at him, and I know I'm one of the guys that really like to get my running backs out of the draft, play them first round at that, give them the 5 year deal, and then move on from them. And that's just what I'm about. But these guys showed something, so I'm willing to give them that 1 year deal until we can get a guy in that can learn the system, and then we move on from them. Isaiah Ford. I'm willing to let Isaiah Ford walk, okay? We could bring him in as a camp body, but I just believe that we just need to get a little bit better wide receiver play, so I'm willing to let him move on. Malcolm Brown, bye-bye. Patrick Laird, restricted free agent. I don't think he gets tendered. I think they let him walk or maybe bring him back as a camp body. Red Wine, Cedric Red Wine, I believe you bring him back. You tender him, late round tender. You bring him back and then you see what he could do for a year or two. I think it's worth investing in him. Vince Beagle. Some people will feel like they just need to let him go. Some people want to bring him back. I say you bring him back. I think he has value. He's a pass rusher. He didn't play much last year. I say you bring him back on a prove-it deal. Give him a year. Let's find out what he has. Jamal Perry, you could bring him back as a cat body if you want. Late round tender as a restricted free agent, but I'm not sure. It's just one of those guys I'm kind of on the fence about. Elijah Campbell, I just say you let him move on. And that's it. All right. Those are the guys there. 28 out of 27 guys now because we already got Gesicki signed up at least through next year on a franchise tag. We'll see what happens with all these other 27 guys. If any of those guys get deals before, I don't anticipate anybody but Agba maybe getting a deal before free agency hits. And then some of those guys, either on the eve of free agency, might get one-year deals and things like that. And we'll dwindle that list down of guys because we're going to need some of those guys back as camp bodies, if anything else. All right. I'll holler at you in the next video. The next video will be out later this week covering who I believe should be cut. All right. We create a little more space in the salary cap by letting some of these guys go. And some of them names might shock you on that list. All right. I'll holler at you in the next video. You already know what it is. Fins up till we die. See y'all later.